Stand back, civilian. This is no place for you. Get back to the encampment at once.
Allow me to introduce myself, Savlin. I am Caius, Spellsword, Dunmer, Eternal Champion, most loyal agent of the Emperor, former head of the Blades in Vardenfell, Hortator of the Great Houses, Nerevarine, Eternal Champion. Spellsword Dunmer, I'm losing track. Finest courier in all of Tamriel. And, do you happen to know what happened to Martin?
We lost the damn city. That's what happened! It was too much. Too fast. We were overwhelmed. Couldn't even get everyone out. There are still people trapped in there. Some made it to the chapel, but others were just run down in the streets. The Count and his men are still holed up in the castle. And now we can't even get back into the city to help them. That damned Oblivion gate blocking the way.
What will you do now?
The only thing we can do. We'll try to hold our ground, that's what. If we can't hold this barricade, those beasts could march right down and overrun the encampment. I have to try and protect the few civilians that are left. It's all I can do now.
What do you know about Martin, though?
You mean the priest? Last I saw him, he was leading a group towards the chapel of Akavir. If he's lucky, he's trapped in there with the rest of them, at least safe for the moment. If he's not...
Can you tell me more about Kvatch?
My home! My goddamn home in flames! It kills me that I can't get in there and do something!
What's stopping you?
We couldn't have been
yeah.
any less prepared for this. Seems like they came out of nowhere. There were just so many of them. If only I had a way to strike back at the enemy. But we can't leave the barricade until that Oblivion gate is closed.
Tell me more about the Oblivion gate.
Some kind of portal to Oblivion. The enemy used them to attack the city. They appeared outside the walls and Daedra poured out. They've opened one right in front of the city gates. Until that gate is closed, the best I can do is try to hold these barricades.
Got time for a joke?
Certainly.
Alright, do you need any help?
You want to help? You're kidding, right?
I was. That was the joke.
If you're serious, maybe I can put you to use. It'll likely mean your death, though. Are you sure?
I'll do whatever I can.
I don't know how to close this gate, but it must be possible, because the enemy closed the ones they opened during the initial attack. You can see the marks on the ground where they were, with the great gate right in the middle. I sent men into the gate to see if they could find a way to shut it. They haven't come back. If you can get in there, find out what happened to them. If they're alive, help them finish the job. If not, see what you can do on your own. The best I can say is good luck. If you make it back alive, we'll be waiting for you. It's a brave thing.
Alright, let's do a quick review of the situation, because it's been a little while.
Matthias told me that he believes Martin is with a group that barricaded themselves within the chapel of Akavir inside the city. I need to follow his instructions in order to break the siege of Kvatch and rescue the survivors. Need to go into the Oblivion gate and find out how to close it. Nope.
It's a little bit more.
Savlin Matthias told me that he believes Martin is... Oh, no. We've already got that.
Get this over with!
This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death!
probably get a more advanced healing spell up.
There are 16 Daedra princes, each with his own plane of Oblivion.
Bring it. I seem to remember being a little bit better at this before.
Thank the Nine. I never thought I'd see another friendly face. The others... taken. They were taken to the tower.
It's alright, what's going on?
Captain Mattias sent us in to try and close the gate. We were ambushed, trapped, and picked off. I managed to escape, but the others are strewn across that bridge. They took Menion off to the big tower. You've got to save him. I'm getting out of here.
Fine, Captain Mattias needs your help getting these scabs off this mother-loving plane.
The captain is still holding the barricade? I figured I was the last one left alive. All right. I'll try to get out of here and let the captain know what's going on.
I'm assuming that's the tower. While I'm healing, I'll just take a quick look around. It is kind of neat to see Oblivion, though. Alright, looks like there's more for me to do over there, but while the magic is restoring, I'll head to the proper destination, the tower. Can probably get a little repair in. Do my best to try and not get too caught up in alchemy if I can. I'll take all these mats back with me and make something back on Tamriel. Huh. Devious. I remember putting that in my action bar, thinking that that was something easy to do at the start of combat, but I've never actually followed through. So I'll see if I can be a little bit more diligent. Yeah, so Akavir are no joke. Stronger than the ones in Morrowind. That or I just need to get back into the routine. I thought that was, not a body. I can't really think any reason why there would be something down here, but... these are really nice little touches. I'm assuming this is probably when they started using Havoc physics. But still, it's neat to see little details like this. Excuse me. Plants that harvest you is a really neat little touch. Yeah, Detect Life told me there was something up there. I was wondering where they went. Fire with fire strikes me as a not very smart approach. I can wait. Might have taken on a little bit more than I can handle. Alright, that could have been worse. I was originally going to try and dodge those traps, but the moment kind of got away from me. There seem to be more than a few things that wish me harm here. All I really want to do is get those fire salts off of the original sentry. Did I really knock them that far back? Apparently I did. want to see if I can somehow disarm this thing. Oh, that's not active. See, the truly diabolical thing about Oblivion would be if you could harvest a bunch of alchemy materials, and then it turns out they're actually not useful for anything. Now I gotta wonder which tower I'm headed to. This place is huge. Alright, I want to see if I can do anything with this. No. Somebody's mad at me. Ah! How does that compare to my glass bow? 18.4 versus 22.2. Ugh. That was foolish. Well, this'll be interesting. Wonder if I can get the drop on one of the clan fear. No. In fact, I'm thinking this might be a really good idea. That was dumb of me. Alright, I might have just got myself a little time. Really trying to not to die on this one because I don't think I've saved in a while. Alright, something else means me harm. Spellcaster somewhere up here. There we go. That looks like it's more than one, actually. Okay. Gonna buy myself a little time here. Alright, that might be an improvement for me. I also gotta remember my soul traps again. This is less threatening given that I have fire. Heh. That's what they get for summoning things bigger than their doors. we might be able to take those guys on the higher level. But let me get a little repair work in. Alright, weapon-wise, the longsword does about as much damage as the dagger, however, it is significantly heavier. Busted. Alright, we'll just drop the longsword on them, and any other trash I might have brought along. Yeah, it's really just the one. Alright, as long as I don't take too many swords, I should be fine. Yeah, it looks like I got a few things that I can fill up with souls, so I should keep an eye on that. Looks like his friend didn't notice. It's half my health. Yeah, mysticism was not the first thing on my mind there. Busted. Wrong one. Help if I could aim. didn't know if I was gonna pull that off. So I wonder if that's activating because it was designed that way, or if there was another enemy in here that got caught by their own traps.
In the cage! Over! Over here! Quickly!
Yeah, a little busy here.
In the cage! Over here! In the cage! Over here!
The kind of guy you want in your foxhole. Burden of agnosticism. Cool. It's a better return than the longsword.
Quickly! Quickly, there's no time! You must get to the top of the large tower. The sigil keep, they call it. That's what keeps the Oblivion gate open. Find the sigil stone. Remove it and the gate will close. Hurry! The keeper has the key. You must get the key. Take the key. Get to the sigil keep and find the sigil stone. It's the only way. Don't worry about me. There's no time. Get moving!
You know, you were shrieking about getting over there. Figure it's a little late to do the heroic sacrifice, but anyways. I think this is telling me lies. I'm also gonna lose my life detecting a little bit with my helmet. Alright, I gotta make sure I don't get caught in that myself. So I do still want to sneak around, but should just keep an eye for any markers of traps. Where'd they go? Ah. So I want to try and deal with that Akavir before it notices me. Oh. Alright, now you. Oh! Ah! It's a tricky place, tricky place. Losing the trail of fire would be a nice touch, too. Oof. Alright, I'm gonna have a rematch with him just as soon as I find a way to get down here without killing myself. Ah. That was a really neat fight one way or the other, but this is definitely gonna be tough on the inventory management. So, first things first, let's try and get some healing. Alright then. No restore health and restore magicka. And it's worth it. This stuff's heavy, but what's really keeping me laden down is all the extra stuff I'm carrying, so... Well, the Iron Claymore is an obvious one to get rid of. Sorry, just taking a second here. I mean, this is still worth something, but... And I mean, it is good compared to my existing shield, it's just it's a heavy one, so if I drop that, I still have to cut. I wish I could have kept it, but it didn't quite make sense weight-wise. Be welcome, actually. This protects 2 compared to my life-seeking helmet. So as much as I like the life-seeking, I think... Alright, that was not that person who found me. Although I'll bet you... Bet you the life-seeking helmet's not working, seeing as I couldn't find them. Well, I'll have to solve that later. I just don't see any life, so... might be able to turn that to my advantage. If I can get around the scamp and then hit the summoner. I don't know where they went though. Alright, I thought I was on my way to getting some pretty good gear, but it turns out I definitely need to work against the forces of Oblivion. It's worth so much, but where am I going to get 66 weight from? Oh, well that's an easy answer. Weight's a little bit easier to work out. First things first. Oh, and it turns out the life-seeking helmet's still working. Alright, I am going to do an alchemy run. This may not cover it, but I should do it by weight, so... Daedra Heart, Clan Fear Claws are first up. Frankly, it doesn't really matter. Cure disease would be good if I can do it. But I can't.
I've closed the gate by taking the sigil stone that anchors it within Oblivion. I should tell Savalin Matthias that the way into Kvatch is now open.
I'm just lucky to be alive.
Close the gate. I knew you could do it. This is our chance to launch a counterattack. I need you to come with us. You've got far more combat experience than these men. Are you able to join us now? I can wait, but not for long. We've got to move quickly before they have a chance to barricade the city gate.
I'm not ready yet.
The longer we wait, the smaller our window of opportunity. Get ready and do it quickly. We've got to move soon.
I won't level up, but I do want to sell the stuff that I've got.
Are they angry with us?
Thanks. Kvatch is safer for all of us now you've closed the gate. I have potions and everything you need to make your own. What will it be? I can't make it. No deal. That's just not a good price? A good price for...
Well, that's a start.
Thank you. Come again. Be sick.
You've done us a great service, stranger. We're all grateful. Goodbye.
It's the smell, really.
You closed the gate. That's the first good news in a long time. I can repair... Only quality goods for sale here. What can I
Alright,
interest you
so
in?
I don't get to sell everything that I want. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to these. I have a feeling I've probably sold some pretty good gear at some pretty bad prices by not paying attention to this sort of stuff.
Good day.
Perhaps you still look at that.
See, I didn't exactly fury up that much space, but I'm not really willing to sell any of that stuff at the price they were offering.
Are you ready? We need to move out soon, while we still have a chance to strike.
I'm ready, let's go.
For Kvatch!
Just as well that I saved.
Are you ready? We...
I've entered the ruined city of Kvatch with Savlin, Matthias, and his men. We must clear the southern plaza before the survivors in the chapel can be rescued.
Bring it. Oh boy. Where's my backup? Have fun, guys. Pretty sure I'm done for. Oh, this is bad. I feel like the guy in light armor should not be the tank. Well, I gave it my best effort.
Are you ready?
It's really hard to see why this city would fall. Alright, gotta find a way to kite them. Oh, this is promising. This is decidedly less promising. I thought I could run a little bit further back. I should probably save at the start of the fight too. All right.
Are you ready?
on, guy. Alright, that was good in theory.
Are you ready?
But I definitely think I need to be a little less stingy with my potions and just constantly put out the most powerful spells that I can. And I'm definitely going in after these guys. Flame Atronax. I mean, we're still getting clobbered, but I might be able to handle this. Alright, these guys have a grudge now. I have no idea where this Atronach came from. Oh, summon.
I've helped Savlin, Matthias, and his men retake the southern plaza. I should talk to him about our next move.
Whew. That was not trivial.
We wiped the bastards out.
Yep,
It's
first
safe
try
to
and
pull those
everything.
people out of the chapel. Let's get in there and make sure they're all right. Come on. This is only the beginning of the battle for Kvatch. We can discuss the next phase once the civilians are safe.
No, he's surprisingly cheery, having lost every single other soldier that he brought into this. So this might have been a good spot to sort of sit on top and shoot down on the enemies. I don't know.
Report, soldier.
Sir, we're all that's left. Barrack Inian, myself, and these civilians.
That's it?
There were The area is clear?
Oh, sorry.
Then as soon as Captain Mattias gives the order, I'll escort the civilians to safety. Goodbye.
I'm not going to hear the rest of that dialogue, am I?
The area is clear?
Tell me about Kvatch.
It all happened so fast. It was all we could do to round up the survivors and try to get them to safety.
Actually, it just occurred to me I saved after the fight. Oh, I don't even... Okay, well, I screwed that up, but...
We've done it. I can't believe it. I didn't really think... Oh, you...
I'm an idiot. Alright.
Let's get inside the chapel and make...
Okay, sorry. I keep forgetting which things I've done and which things I haven't. I'm also not admiring all the nice work that's been put into the broken city.
Report, soldier.
Sir, we're all...
That's it? There's no one else.
There were...
Kvatch is finished. Very well. The area outside the chapel has been cleared, and these people need to be taken to safety. Escort them to the camp south of here at once.
But sir, I want to help fight.
You will, soldier. Once they're secure, get back here immediately. We'll need every available blade. There'll be plenty of fighting to go around.
Sir, yes, sir. Civilians, it's time to move out. Let's go. Excuse me. I need to take these people to the encampment.
We've done it. I can't believe it. I didn't really think this would work. Maybe we do have a fighting chance. Oh, yes. We're not done. Not even close. This was only the first step. If this town is to be ours again, we'll need to get inside the castle. You've come this far with us. Will you go further? If we're truly going to succeed, I'll need much more of your help. I warn you, though, what we've seen so far is nothing compared to the battle that likely awaits us. Take a few moments to catch your breath and think it over. When you're ready, let me know and we'll get underway.
What about Martin?
Well met. Brother Martin? Yes, he's right over there. He led a group of us here during the confusion of the attack. We owe him our lives. Farewell.
When you say right over there...
I got
can't face it.
I heard about how you helped the guard drive the Daedra back. Well done.
Come with me. You're in danger.
Danger, you say? You came here to tell me this. Explain yourself or leave me alone. There are many others here who actually need your help.
You're Martin, right? The priest?
Yes, I'm a priest. You need a priest? I don't think I'll be much help to you. I'm having trouble understanding the gods right now. If all this is part of a divine plan, I'm not sure I want to have anything to do with it.
There is a plan. We're part of it.
What plan? What are you talking about? I prayed to Akavir all through that terrible night, but no help came. Only more Daedra. What can you possibly know that would help me make sense of this?
You are Uriel Septim's son.
Emperor Uriel Septim? You think the Emperor is my father? No, you must have the wrong man. I am a priest of Akavir. My father was a farmer.
Well, he liked to do some gardening in his spare time. The Daedra came here for you.
An entire city destroyed to get at me? Why? Because I'm the Emperor's son?
Why would I lie to you?
I don't know. It's strange. I think you might actually be telling the truth. What does this mean? What do you want from me?
Come with me to Weynon Priory.
You destroyed the Oblivion gate, they say. You gave them hope. You helped them drive the Daedra back. Yes, I'll come with you to Weynon Priory and hear what Joffrey has to say. Lead on.
I'm just lucky to be alive.
I should probably help out the,
Rejoice through faith, your afflictions are banished.
Unless you need something, let's continue on to Weynon Priory.
Wait here.
I've put myself in your hands. Don't fail me.
I should probably help out Kvatch. Just give me a minute.
You've been trying too hard, thinking too much. Relax. Trust your instincts. Just be yourself. Do the little things, and the big things will take care of themselves.
We've done good work, but this is no time to start patting each other on the back. There's still much to do. We need to get to the castle. That's where Count Goldwine and his men should be. Last I saw, they were trying to fortify the castle from an attack.
How'd that go for them?
If the Count is still alive, it's my duty to assist him, even if it means giving up my life. If you're with me, we need to get going.
Yes, let's go.
I knew you'd be up to it. Our goal is the castle gate. We should be able to use this door to get out to the plaza in front of the castle gatehouse. You know the drill. Stick close and keep your eyes open. Let's move out! This ends here!
Should have known that was coming. I will admit the rain really adds some atmosphere.
Damn it! This is no good. The gates are locked, and the only way to open them is from within the gatehouse. We can't open that gate from out here. The only mechanism for raising it is inside the gatehouse. And the only way to get into the gatehouse now will be through the passage at the North Guardhouse, but that's always kept locked. Hurry and find Barrich Inian. He should be back in the chapel. Should still have the key to the guardhouse. Once you've got it, get to the guardhouse, find the passage, and open that gate. Then we can get inside the castle and secure it.
Should probably check for some goodies first. No, we're good.
We saw the smoke from the Gold Road while out on patrol. How can we help?
Follow
We'll
me.
be right behind you. I'm just waiting for Captain Mattias to give the order. Finally, a chance to fight back.
I'm gonna need the guardhouse key.
Yes, I have it. Why?
I needed to get into the castle.
That's right. They managed to close the castle gates just before we were forced in here. I'm afraid you're in for a tough time, friend. The city's in bad shape, and it will be difficult to make it to the guardhouse by yourself. I'd better go with you. We'll have to go through the chapel undercroft, and then through what's left of the city. If I don't make it, take the key and carry on without me. You'll need to reach the tower at the north wall of the city. Get
Ah! I'm not gonna reload every single time, but I lost track of him. Alright, one more. It is very hard to keep NPCs alive when they're suicidal like that. I mean, at this point, maybe I do just want to keep reloading to see if I can keep him alive. Alright, so we've got multiple people in the area now. Hopefully that helps. Not a chance. Oh my god, the entire group died. Alright, so we just leave him on his own. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the tactical tactical smarts of this group. Where the hell was he going? There's nothing here. This is gonna sting. As long as I can get rid of the clan fears, I'm alright. Now, unfortunately, it seems like I can't get out of here. Which is a shame, because this is a really good little spot, and overall we didn't do too bad. Alright, once more. That's not what I meant to do, but... Akavir are sort of a priority as far as the just got stuck here, but I'm gonna do my best with it. Yeah, it's not looking good for getting out. Doesn't let me jump from here. It's almost like it thinks I'm falling, or like there's something on top of me. There we go. Oh! Ow. Oh, come on. I actually managed to take them out, and then, because it wants me to stand in the right spot, I wind up dying. That's frustrating. Blazing Spear's a little aggressive for this. I need to go for duration. Excuse me. Oh, come on. Not good. Well, now I see why they gave me the option to wait. Alright, so at this point I think I'm gonna focus on the clan fear if I can. If I can find them. Clearly that's more than I can handle. Yeah. Sometimes that spot serves me well, and sometimes it doesn't, so I should probably try and find something a little more consistent.
This is the part. Will you fall down? Supposed to be impressed.
Good lord, these things are tough. The big thing for me is they hit like a truck, and it's almost impossible to dodge them. Alright, this might give me what I need. This is going to be the exact opposite approach from last time. I'm actually going to focus on shock on the Antronax. And then that'll give me the time that I need to... I really don't want to move from this spot. Ah! I can't blame him for wanting to, or not staying put. It's just very frustrating because I clearly can't move from here or I'm gonna die. But it looks like they've finally learned a sense of self-preservation. Find the one I almost took down. So I think there's at least one more. Yeah. Risking it here because I feel like I can at least dodge the Frost Antronak well enough to finish the job. Turns out there's more than one. Wow. All right. Now I'm going to retry it so that I don't lose my companion. I do like to allow myself failure, but I really don't like failures that are on the basis of questionable choices by the AI. This one, though, seems to be more just the overall difficulty of the encounter. I'm assuming that you're just not intended to have anybody get through this. Or possibly you're supposed to do this much later than when I'm doing it. I want to get the backstab if I can, but, well, no luck there. So one of the reasons I like using some of the more minor heals is that during moments like this I'm able to restore my stamina as well. So even though my magicka is going down, I'm going to be able to do a batch of physical attacks while my magicka recovers. This poses a little bit more of a problem because scamps are they're not like a huge threat on their own, but they can do damage. is not clear to me yet. Whether it's better to take them on in hand-to-hand or a rage. Alright. Some of this might get solved through the repair hammer. Oh god, poor Akavir. Yep, they found me. As long as I can take them on one by one, I sort of have a hope. Otherwise, it's very tricky. I don't really care. It's bought me a little time. So a better approach might be for me to try and use the bow for the sneak attack. It's my best arrow. They suck. Oh, no, I don't. It's just an invisible wall. Alright, I do suck. Just so we got that cleared out. I think I got a little too greedy on that. Oh, and I have more than one coming after me. I might have just ruined this. I just noticed that holding the bow is a murder on your stamina. don't think I can afford to do that all that much. Alright, that's encouraging. Oh, come on. This gives me a chance to decide what ammo I really want to keep. Alright, let's see if I can make the most of this time down. Oh. Alright, where is the clan of fear that I filled full of arrows? I'm allowed to use magic armor again when I get my repair skills up. Good to know. I want to check out some of this other stuff first.
I found the tunnel entrance in Kvatch. I need to follow it to the gatehouse so I can raise the gates and let the guards into the castle courtyard. I've raised the gates into Castle Kvatch. I must now help Savlin and his men defeat the monsters within.
Oh boy. Wrong button. Oh!
Ow!
I don't think I'm going to be able to get the alchemy out of the way too. Ah. Well, no surprise there about... Ah! I actually think I'm probably a little more afraid of the Akavir than anything. Can't afford it. I'll clean everything up after I take them out. Okay, so it looks like it's Antranax and Daedroth. I don't know how heavy a Daedroth hits. I'm assuming pretty hard. Three of them, Jesus. I'm out of Restore Magicka, aren't I? Well, this'll cover me for a bit. At this point, as long as I can just take some down. It's definitely more than one of these. I heard it sneak up behind me just at the last second. I'm worried that I've spread the damage out too much. Can't actually see any of the effects of what I've done. I did not know they breathed fire. Okay, I gotta keep an eye on that clan affair, otherwise it's gonna get really bad. Oh, there's more than one. I hate getting caught on the edge of something in a moment like that. Makes me panic. Alright, this is an encouraging little spot. Oh! Ah, it was nice while it lasted. Good effort, but no, the clan fears con. It's a rare opportunity, I gotta take it. Ah! I did not realize the other one wasn't dead yet. Oh, I'm gonna lose use it. I can't actually move. No, might be able to do something here now. Okay, that's encouraging. It's like a Scooby-Doo episode. Just seeing my companion's body just fly across the screen is incredibly amusing. Alright, time to get some marksmanship practice in. I don't seem to hear Magicka anymore. It's actually going to make this fight kind of hard. As if it wasn't already. Yeah, so the fact that I can't hear most of the stuff that's coming after me now is a big disadvantage. Just occurred to me I may not be able to get back up. And I might have just ruined this whole thing. Oh! Oh, that's so weird. They don't let me climb out of that. There we go. So I'll pick up what I can, and I think I'll actually try and reload the save. Alright. Easy, right? Let's see if quick reload will... No, alright. There we go. I don't like going to the main menu because that tends to get the video muted.
This area is clear. We've got to get inside and find the Count before it's too late. Move out!
Alright, Leroy Jenkins. Wrong button. I really wanted to heal. There we go. Oof. There were some highly questionable decisions on my part there. I'm curious if I'm going to be able to make it through this. Oh, I pulled the other one. Books. I was mad at these guys before, but after seeing them disrespect the books like that, oh, I'm in trouble. Also, I feel those books are going to be a liability for my inventory in a couple seconds. It's this point here where I'm most scared because this can go either way. All right, I should have a little security. I'm not going to use any of my potions. I'm just going to naturally heal. Oh, able to choose. Probably made the wrong call there.
I fought Mudcrest. What's the...
I find it incredibly amusing to just see my companion's body just fly across the map on such a regular basis.
What's the matter?
Oh, that's gonna be a problem. You better believe I'm taking all of these. Ooh, that's quite heavy. All right. Reflect damage would be nice, I just don't think I have it on any of these other ones. Yeah, so again, cure disease would be great, but I really do not have the space. I think I do have Heal Companion though, right? Or is that in Morrowind? Yeah, it looks like they're on their own. Alright. I thought there might have been another body that I could loot. Seems I was mistaken. I will read at least one of those books by the end. I actually feel a little bit bad that this has just been kind of combat after combat, but Turns out this part's kinda hard.
All right, this is it. We'll hold this area. You head to the back of the castle and find the Count. Don't come back here without him.
Could be dangerous. You go first. I don't know what's causing that. Sneak attack in that case would make all the difference. Alright, they know where I am. Yes, I do love the idea of Kaya sitting at the, dodging behind the cupboard and just seeing one hand creep around the corner to see if there's any gold. I really should try saving when I can, because I have a feeling that these kinds of glitches are usually kind of a promise of a crash. That's welcome. As far as I'm concerned, finding the Count is a decidedly secondary objective. I prefer glitches like that when they give me vital information. Is this one of the ones on my quest? Shadow Banish, that's right. So this kind of encumbrance I'm not that worried about because I've got stuff like pumpkins in my inventory. Restore fatigue would not be unwelcome, though, so. Probably take a minute. Oh, well, I've already got the weight, but I'll take a minute and find if there's anything else that's really heavy. The Daedra heart, bread loaf, cheese. Yeah, there's some, but not quite ready to give up on it yet. Not really that much to do there, except just beat the hell out of it. I do like the fact you're allowed to sleep in those beds, despite the fact that you've not gotten rid of the Daedra and the room is on fire. Very, very deep sleeper, apparently. Don't care if these are duplicates, books are books. Restore fatigue if I can. Yep. Oh, these can reflect damage. I'm hanging on to the flower then, just in case I run into more scamps. I'll settle for restore fatigue. Really aggressive on the weight, it seems. Drat. Oh my god. Those heavy potions. Alright. I will cut deep, but... Daedra hearts are no longer an option. Fair enough. Oh boy. Have I exhausted all of my options already? That's depressing if that's true. Yeah, looks like I have. So I gotta find 17 weight somewhere. I really don't want to give these up. I always keep looking here, but I'm never gonna find anything new. It's always... Alright. For each I will drop each duplicate. Oh boy. I'm hoping I can come back here. But clearly the best option right now is just to drop the Restore Fatigue, which for some reason weighs a ton. Oh wow. Turns out the Count may not have made it. What a shocking development. I probably should have been paying a little more attention to what was going on. All right. You won't be needing it. Also, I'm thinking the level design here is saying something about an alcoholic. Like how many wine bottles are there around this?
I found the body of Count Goldwine.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
I should deliver a signet ring to Savlin Matthias.
I'm glad the game gave me permission to loot his body. This is going to be the corniest way that I can, Oh, there's even more books. Alright, clearly I don't need that many copies of Guide to the Imperial City. Really? Alright, you know what? I at least gotta save these things from the fire. Well, as much as I can with the limited. Alright, so. So that's got me covered there. This is not a surprise that I'm... Actually, you know what? It's just easier if I do this. So magically, if I hold it out in front of me... Oh, you know what? I don't know if I can get through the... That's the trick. And that's the solution. I have questions.
Where is the Count? Why is he not with you?
I'm sorry he didn't make it.
We were too late. If only we'd gotten here sooner. This is indeed a dark day for all of us left. But I thank you for risking your own life to help us. Did you find the Count's ring by any chance?
Here it is.
At least this is safe. Thank you. I shall make sure it is protected for the time when a new Count is crowned. Here, take this. I have no use for it. I'm tired of fighting. It may serve you well in days to come. Take care.
I mean, it's not bad. Oh wow, and a fortified strength. Alright. Potions are still too heavy though. I guess I don't have a current quest. So there was a sign of me that wanted to, there's a sign of me that wanted to go all the way to check out the Prophet. But seeing as I have found Martin, I feel like I should at least drop him off at the Priory before I go off and do my own thing. It's a little premature. It's 42 a pop though, like I don't want to just leave it hanging around there. This is such a dumb solution. I like that I can do it, it's just dumb.
Unless you need something, let's continue on to Weynon Priory.
Follow me.
To Weynon Priory, then.
I mean, we're close to the end already, but I did promise some reading, so we'll try and push ahead. Alright, this is a little more manageable. Yeah, maybe I should just throw it down the hill. It seems to be if I go too fast, it doesn't hold on anymore. Oh no, did I lose it in the grass? I did not come all this way. We are reloading if I have to. Ah, there it is.
Greetings, traveler. What do you seek?
Somebody to buy my potions.
Be seen.
Hello, associate. Thanks. Kvatch is safer for all of us now you've closed the gate.
My pleasure. Let's talk
Can I
turkey.
interest you in some of my wares? You've made... That's a fair deal. That's more. You've made... That's a fair deal. Thank you for your business.
Alright.
Farewell.
You know what? I know this is gonna seem... you know what? I have the books that I need, actually, so...
You've done us a...
I was gonna go back and get those books, but
I'm
I don't
sorry.
think I really need to.
I don't think I'm going to be much help.
What do you know about Martin?
I'll never forget him. He saved as many as he could that terrible night. If only they'd listened and stayed with us in the chapel. Goodbye.
How could the Nine let this happen? Are they angry with us?
Alright.
Frontier Conquest and Accommodation, A Social History of Cyrodiil, University of Gilwyn Press, 3rd Era 344. Historians often portray the human settlement of Tamriel as a straightforward process of military expansion of the Nords of Skyrim. In fact, human settlers occupied nearly every corner of Tamriel before Skyrim was even founded. These so-called Nedic peoples include Proto-Cyrodiils, the ancestors of the Bretons, the Aboriginals of Hammerfell, and perhaps the now vanished human population of Morrowind. Strictly speaking, the Nords are simply another of these Nedic people, the only one that failed to find a method of peaceful accommodation with the elves who already occupied Tamriel. Ysgramor was certainly not the first human settler in Tamriel. In fact, in fleeing civil war in Atmora, as the Song of Return states, Ysgramor was following a long tradition of migration from Atmora. Tamriel had served as a safety valve for Atmora for centuries before Ysgramor's arrival. Malcontents, dissidents, rebels, landless younger sons all made the difficult crossing from Atmora to the new world of Tamriel. New archaeological excavations date the earliest human settlements in Hammerfell, High Rock, and Cyrodiil at ME 800 to 1000, centuries earlier than Ysgramor, even assuming that the 12 Nord kings prior to Harald were actual historical figures. The Nedic peoples were a minority in a land of elves and had no choice but to live peacefully with the Elder race. In High Rock, Hammerfell, Cyrodiil, and possibly Morrowind, they did just that, and the Nedic peoples flourished and expanded over the last centuries of the Merethic era. Only in Skyrim did this accommodation break down, an event recorded in the Song of Return. Perhaps being close to the reinforcements from Atmora, the Proto-Nords did not feel it necessary to submit to the authority of the Skyrim elves. Indeed, the early Nord chroniclers note that under King Harald, the first historical Nord ruler, 1st Era 113 to 221, the Atmoran mercenaries returned to their homeland, following the consolidation of Skyrim as a centralized kingdom. Whatever the case, the pattern was set. In Skyrim, expansion would proceed militarily, with human settlement following the frontier of conquest, and the line between human territory and elven territory was relatively clear. But beyond this zone of conflict, the the other Nedic peoples continued to merge with their elven neighbors. When the Nord armies of the First Empire finally settled High Rock and Cyrodiil, they found Bretons, and Proto-Cyrodiils already living there among the elves. Indeed, the Nords found it difficult to distinguish between elf and Breton. The two races had already intermingled to such a degree. The arrival of the Nord armies upset the balance of power between the Nedic peoples and the elves. Although the Nords' expansion into High Rock and Cyrodiil was relatively brief, less than 2 centuries, the result was decisive. From then on, power in those regions shifted from the elves to the humans.
Pretty sure we've already read this. Yeah.
On Morrowind, the Imperial Province, by Erimnwe of Sunhold. After the conquest of Hammerfell, Imperial legions massed along the northeastern borders of Cyrodiil, and invasion fleets prepared in Skyrim. Initially, though the Imperial legions and navy were widely considered undefeatable, House Indoril and the Temple hierarchy proposed to resist to the death. Redoran and Dres stood by Indoril, with Telvanni remaining neutral. Hlaalu proposed accommodation. Contrived border incidents in Black Marsh ended inconclusively, but the swampy terrain did not favor Legion and Navy coordination. Against the legions massed west of Silgrad Tower and Kraganmoor, the legions west of Blacklight and Cormaris View, Morrowind had pitifully small militias stiffened by small companies of Redoran mercenaries and elite units of House Nobles and Temple Ordinators and Armigers. Further complicating matters was the refusal of Indoril, Dres, Hlaalu, and Telvanni to garrison the western borders. Indoril and Dres proposed, rather than defend the western border, instead to withdraw to the interior and fight a guerrilla war. With Hlaalu advocating accommodation and Telvanni remaining neutral, Redoran therefore faced the prospect of standing alone against the Empire. The situation changed radically when Vivec appeared in person in Vivec City to announce his negotiation of a treaty with Emperor Tiber Septim, reorganizing Morrowind as a province of the Empire, but guaranteeing all rights of faith and self-government. A shocked temple hierarchy, which apparently had not been consulted, greeted the announcement with awkward silence. Indoril swore that they would resist to the death with the loyal support of Dres, while Redoran, grateful for a graceful excuse to avoid facing the legions unsupported, joined with Hlaalu in welcoming the agreement. Telvanni, seeing which way the wind blew, joined with Hlaalu and Redoran in supporting the treaty. Nothing is known of the circumstances of the personal meeting between Septim and Vivec, or where it took place, or the preliminaries which must have preceded the treaty. The public reason was to protect the identities of the agents involved. In the West, speculation is centered around the role of Ziran Arctus in brokering the agreement. In the East, rumors suggested that Vivec offered Numidium to aid in the conquest of the Altmer and Somerset Isle in return for significant concessions to preserve self-rule, house traditions, and religious practices in Morrowind. The Lord High Counselor of the Grand Council, an Indoril, refused to accept the treaty and refused to step down. He was assassinated and replaced by a Hlaalu. House Hlaalu took the opportunity to settle some old scores with House Indoril, and a number of local councils changed hands in bloody coups. More blood was shed in these inter-house struggles than against the Imperial legions during Morrowind's transition from an independent nation to a province of the Empire. The generals of the legions had dreaded an invasion of Morrowind. The Dunmer were widely regarded as the most dreadful and fanatic foes, further inspired by their temple and clan traditions. The generals had not grasped the political weaknesses of Morrowind, which the Emperor Tiber Septim had recognized and exploited. At the same time, given the tragic depopulation and destruction experienced by other provinces conquered by Septim and swift and efficient assimilation of Morrowind into the imperial legal systems and economy, with relatively small impact on lower and upper classes of Morrowind citizens, the tribunal also deserves some credit for recognizing the hopelessness of Morrowind's defense and the chance of gaining important concessions at the treaty table by being the first to offer peace. By contrast, many Indoril nobles choose to commit suicide rather than submit to the Empire, with the result that the house was significantly weakened during the period of transition, guaranteeing that they would lose much of their influence and power to House Hlaalu, whose influence and power was waxing with its enthusiastic accommodation with the Empire. The temple hierarchy more skillfully managed their loss of face, remaining aloof from political struggles, and earning the goodwill of the people by concentrating their economic, educational, and spiritual welfare.
pretty sure we've read this. Well, we'll double check anyway.
Book of Daedra. These are excerpts from a lengthy tome describing the nature of each of the Daedra. Azura, whose sphere is dusk and dawn, the magic in between realms of twilight, known as Moon Shadow, Mother of the Rose, and Queen of the Night Sky. Boethia, whose sphere is deceit and conspiracy, and secret plots of murder, assassination, treason, and unlawful overthrow of authority. Clavicus Vile, whose sphere is the granting of power and wishes through ritual, invocations, and pact. Hermaeus Mora, whose sphere is scrying of the tides of fate, of past and future as read in the stars and heavens, and whose dominion are the treasures of knowledge and memory. Hircine, whose sphere is the hunt, the sport of Daedra, the great game, the chase, known as the huntsman and the father of man-beasts. Malakath, whose sphere is the patronage of the spurned and ostracized, keeper of the sworn oath and the bloody curse. Marutis Dagon, whose sphere is destruction, change, revolution, energy, and ambition. Mephala, whose sphere is obscured to mortals, known by the names Webspinner, Spinner, and Spider, whose only consistent theme seems to be the interference in the affairs of mortals for her amusement. Meridia, whose sphere is obscured to mortals, who is associated with the energies of living things. Molag Bal, whose sphere is the domination and enslavement of mortals, whose desire is to harvest the souls of mortals and to bring mortal souls within his sway by spreading seeds of strife and discord in the mortal realms. Namira, whose sphere is the ancient darkness, known as the Spirit Daedra, ruler of the sundry dark and shadowy spirits, associated with spiders, insects, slugs, and other repulsive creatures, which inspire mortals with an instinctive revulsion. Nocturnal, whose sphere is the night and darkness, who is known as the Night Mistress. Perite, whose sphere is the ordering of the lowest orders of Oblivion, known as the Taskmaster. Sanguine, whose sphere is hedonistic revelry and debauchery and passionate indulgences of darker natures. Shigarath, whose sphere is madness and whose motives are unknowable. Vernamia, whose sphere is the realm of dreams and nightmares, and from whose realm issues forth evil omens. Especially marked for special interest, under the heading Malakath, you find reference to Scourge, blessed by Malakath and dedicated to the use of mortals. In short, the reference suggests that any Daedra attempting to invoke the weapon's powers will be expelled into the void streams of Oblivion. Of the legendary artifacts of the Daedra, many are well known, like Azura's Star and Shegarath's Wabajak. Others are less well known, like Scourge, Makan's Hammer, Bane of Daedra. Yet though Malakath blessed Scourge to be potent against his Daedric kin, he thought that, not that it should fall into Daedric hands, than to serve as a tool for private war among Caitiff and Forsaken. Thus did Malakath curse the device such that should any dark kin seek to invoke its powers, the void should open and swallow that Daedra, and purge him into Oblivion's void streams, from thence to pathfind back to the real and unreal worlds in the full order of time.
I do think I read that before.
Report of the Imperial Commission on the disaster at Ionath. Lord Potridge, Chairman. Part 1, Preparations. The Emperor's plans for the invasion of Akavir were laid in the 270s, when he began the conquest of the small island kingdoms that lie between Tamriel and Akavir. With the fall of Black Harbor in Ezranet in 282, Uriel V was already looking ahead to the ultimate prize. He immediately ordered extensive renovations to the port, which would serve as the marshalling point for the invasion force and as the main supply source throughout the campaign. At this time, he also began the construction of the many large ocean-going transports that would be needed for the final crossing to Akavir, in which the navy was previously deficient. Thus it can be seen that the Emperor's preparations for the invasion were laid well in advance before even the conquest of Ezraniet was complete, and was not a sudden whim as some have charged. When Prince Bashamon yielded Ezraniet to imperial authority in 284, the Emperor's full attention could be devoted to planning for the Akaviri campaign. Naval expeditions were dispatched in 285 and 286, to scout the sea levels and coastlands of Akavir, and various Imperial intelligence agents, both magical and mundane, were employed to gather information. On the basis of all this information, the kingdom of the Taishi, in the southwest of Akavir, was selected as the initial target for the invasion. Meanwhile, the Emperor was gathering his expeditionary force. A new Far East fleet was created for the campaign, which for a time dwarfed the rest of the navy. It is said to be the most powerful fleet ever assembled in the history of Tamriel. The 5th, 7th, 10th, and 14th legions were selected for the initial landing, with the 9th and 17th to follow as reinforcements once the beachhead was secured. While this may seem to the layman as a relatively small fraction of the army's total manpower, it must be remembered that this expeditionary force would have to be maintained at the end of a long and tenuous supply line, In addition, the Emperor and the army command believed that the invasion would not be strongly opposed, at least at first. Perhaps most crucially, the navy had only enough heavy transport capacity to move 4 legions at a time. It should be noted here that the Commission does not find fault with the Emperor's preparations for the invasion. Based on the information available prior to the invasion, which while obviously deficient in hindsight, great effort had been made to accumulate, the Commission believes that the Emperor did not act recklessly or imprudently. Some have argued that the expeditionary force was too small. The Commission believes that, on the contrary, even if shipping could have been found to transport and supply more legions, an impossibility without crippling the trade of the entire empire, this would have merely added to the scale of the disaster. It would not have averted it. Neither could the rest of the empire be denuded of legions. The memory of the Camoran usurper was still fresh, and the emperor believed, and this commission agrees, that the security of the empire precluded a larger concentration of military force outside of Tamriel. If anything, the commission believes that the expeditionary force was too large. Despite the creation of 2 new legions during his reign, and the recreation of the 5th, the loss of the expeditionary force left the empire in a dangerously weak position relative to the provinces, as the current situation makes all too clear. This suggests that the invasion of Akavir was beyond the Empire's current strength, even if the Emperor could have fielded and maintained a larger force in Akavir. The Empire may have disintegrated behind him. Part 2. The Invasion of Akavir. The expeditionary force left Black Harbor on the 23rd of Rain's Hand, 288, and with fair weather landed in Akavir after 6 weeks at sea. The landing site was a small Tessie port at the mouth of a large river, chosen for its proximity to Tamriel, as well as its location in a fertile river valley, giving easy access to the interior, as well as good foraging for the rest of the army. All went well at first. The Taski had abandoned the town when the expeditionary force approached, so they took possession of it and renamed it Septimia, first colony of the new imperial province of Akavir. While the engineers fortified the town and expanded the port facilities to serve the Great Far East Fleet, the Emperor marched inland with 2 legions. The surrounding land was reported to be rich, well-watered fields, and meeting no resistance, the army took the next city upriver, also abandoned. This was refounded as Ionith, and the Emperor established his headquarters there, being much larger than Septimia and better located to dominate the surrounding countryside. The expeditionary force had yet to meet any real resistance, although the legions were constantly shadowed by mounted enemy patrols which prevented any but large scouting parties from leaving the main body of the army. One thing that the Emperor sorely lacked was cavalry due to the limited space of the transport fleet, although for the time being the battle mages made up for this with magical reconnaissance. The Emperor now sent out envoys to try and contact the Taski's king or whoever ruled the land, but his messengers never returned. In retrospect, the Commission believes that valuable time was wasted in this effort while the army was stalled at Ionith, which could have been better spent in advancing quickly while the enemy was still apparently surprised by the invasion. However, the Emperor believed at the time that the Taski could be overawed by the Empire's power, and he might win a province by negotiation with no need for serious fighting. Meanwhile, the 4 legions were busy building a road between Septimia and Ionith, setting up fortified guard posts along the river and fortifying both cities' defenses, activities which would serve well later. Due to the lack of cavalry, scouting was limited and communication between the 2 cities constantly threatened by enemy raiders, with which the legions were still unable to come to grips. The original plan had been to bring 2 reinforcing legions across as soon as the initial landing had secured a port, but the fateful decision was now taken to delay their arrival and instead begin to use the fleet to transport colonists. The Emperor and the Council agreed that, due to the complete abandonment of the conquered area by its native population, colonists were needed to work the field so that the expeditionary force would not have to rely entirely on the fleet for supplies. In addition, unrest had broken out in Yinsala, athwart the supply route to Akavir, and the Council believed the 9th and 17th Legions would be better used in repacifying those territories and securing the expeditionary force's supply lines. The civilian colonists and their supplies began arriving in Septimia in mid-Hearthfire, and they took over the preparation of the fields, which had been started by the legionnaires for a spring crop. A number of cavalry mounts were also brought over at this time, and the raids on the 2 imperial colonies subsequently fell off. Taski emissaries also finally arrived at Ionith, purportedly to begin peace negotiations, and the expeditionary force settled for what was expected to be a quiet winter. At this time, the Council urged the Emperor to return to Tamriel with the fleet to deal with many pressing matters of the Empire while the army was in winter quarters, but the Emperor decided that it would be best to remain in Akavir. This turned out to be fortunate because a large portion of the fleet, including the Emperor's flagship, was destroyed by an early winter storm during the homeward voyage. winter storm season of 288-289 was unusually prolonged and exceptionally severe, and prevented the fleet from returning to Akavir as planned with additional supplies. This was reported to the Emperor via battle mage, and it was agreed that the expeditionary force could survive on what supplies it had on hand until the spring. Part 3. The destruction of the expeditionary force. The winter weather in Akavir was also much more severe than expected. Due to supply problems and the addition of thousands of civilians, the expeditionary force was tight on rations. To make matters worse, the Taski raiders returned in force and harried any foraging and scouting parties outside the walls of the two cities. Several watch forts on the road between Septimia and Ionith were captured during the blizzards, and the rest had to be abandoned as untenable. As a result, communication between the two cities had to be conducted entirely by magical means, a continuing strain on the Legion's battle mages. On Fifth Sun's dawn, a large entourage of Taski arrived at Ionith, claiming to bring a peace offer from the Taski king. That night, these treacherous envoys murdered the guards at one of the city gates and led in a strong party of their comrades who were waiting outside the city walls. Their clear intention was to assassinate the Emperor, foiled only by the vigilance and courage of troopers at the 10th who were guarding his palace. Once the alarm was raised, the Taski inside the city were hunted down and killed to the last man. Needless to say, this was the end of the negotiations between the Emperor and the Taski. The arrival of spring only brought worse troubles. Instead of the expected spring rains, a hot, dry wind began to blow from the east, continuing with varying strength through the entire summer. The crops failed, and even the river, which the previous year had been navigable by small boats upstream of Ionith, was completely dried up by sun's height. It is unknown if this is due to a previously unknown weather pattern unique to Akavir, or if the Taski manipulated the weather through magical means. The Commission leans towards the former conclusion, as there is no direct evidence of Taski possessing such fearsome arcane power. The latter possibility cannot be entirely ruled out. Due to the prolonged bad weather, the supply fleet was late in setting out from Black Harbor. It finally left port in early Second Seed, but was again severely mauled by storms and limped into Septimia 8 weeks later, much reduced. Because of the increasingly desperate supply situation in Akavir, the Emperor dispatched most of his battle mage corps with the fleet to assist it in weathering the storms, which seemed likely to continue all summer. At this time, the Council urged the Emperor to abandon the invasion and to return to Tamriel with the expeditionary force, but he again refused, noting that the fleet was no longer large enough to transport all 4 legions at once. The Commission agrees that leaving 1 or more legions behind in Akavir to await the return of the fleet would have damaged army morale, but the Commission also notes that the loss of 1 legion would have been preferable to the loss of the entire expeditionary force. It is the unanimous opinion of the Commission that this was the last point at which complete disaster might have been averted. Once the decision was made to send the fleet back for reinforcements and supplies, events proceeded to their inevitable conclusion. From this point on, much less is known about what transpired in Akavir. With most of the battle mages assisting the fleet, communication between the expeditionary force and Tamriel was limited, especially as the situation in Akavir worsened and the remaining battle mages had their powers stretched to the limit, attending to the needs of the legions. However, it appears that the Taski may have been actively interfering with the mages in some unknown manner. Some of the mages in Akavir reported their powers being abnormally weak, and the mages of the War College in Cyrodiil, who were handling communications for the Council, reported problems linking up with their compatriots in Akavir, even between master and pupil of long training. The Commission urges that the War College make a particular study of the arcane powers of the Taski should the Empire ever come into conflict with Akavir again. What is known is that the Emperor marched out of Ionith at mid-sun's height, leaving only small garrisons to hold the cities. He had learned that the Taski were massing their forces on the other side of a mountain range to the north, and he intended to smash their army before it could gather full strength and capture their supplies, of which he was in desperate need. This rapid advance seems to have taken the Taski by surprise, and the expeditionary force crossed the mountains and fell on their camp, routing the Taski army and capturing its leader, a noble of some kind. But the Emperor was soon forced to retreat, and the legion suffered heavily on the retreat to Ionith. The Emperor now found himself besieged in Ionith, cut off from the small garrison at Septimia, which was also besieged. By this time, it seems that the efforts of the few remaining battle mages were devoted entirely to creating water to keep the army alive, a skill not normally emphasized at the War College. The fleet had arrived safely to Black Harbor, thanks to the Battle Mage Corps, but all attempts to return to Akavir were frustrated by a series of even more savage storms that battered Arizonet throughout the rest of 289. The Council's last contact with the Emperor was in early frostfall. By Evening Star, the Council was extremely worried about the situation in Akavir and ordered the fleet to sail regardless of the risk. Despite the continued storms, the fleet managed to press on to Akavir. Hope was raised when contact was made with the Emperor's battle mage, who reported that Ionith still held out. Plans were quickly laid for the expeditionary force to break out of Ionith and fall back on Septimia, where the fleet would meet them. This was the last direct contact with the expeditionary force. The fleet arrived in Septimia to find its garrison under savage assault from a large Taski army. The battle mages with the fleet threw back on the enemy long enough for the survivors to embark and for the fleet to withdraw. The few survivors of the expeditionary force who reached Septimia told how the Emperor had led the army out of Ionith by night 2 days earlier, successfully breaking through the enemy lines, but then being surrounded by overwhelming forces on the road to Septimia. They told of a heroic last stand by the Emperor and the 10th Legion, which allowed a remnant of the 14th to reach Septimia. 2 survivors of the 10th arrived in Septimia that night, having slipped through the enemy lines during their undisciplined victory celebration. These men confirmed having seen the Emperor die, cut down by enemy arrows as he rallied the 10th shield wall. Part 4. Conclusion. The Commission believes that the invasion of Akavir was doomed from the start for several reasons, none of which could have been foreseen beforehand, unfortunately. Despite extensive intelligence gathering, the expeditionary force was clearly unprepared for the situation in Akavir. The unexpected weather, which plagued the army and navy, was particularly disastrous. Without the loss of a majority of the Far East fleet during the campaign, the expeditionary force could have been withdrawn in 289. The weather also forced the Emperor to assign most of the Battle Mage Corps to the fleet, leaving him without their valuable assistance during the fighting, which soon followed. And of course, the unexpected drought, which struck Ionith during 289, dashed the hopes of supplying the army locally and left the expeditionary force in an untenable situation when besieged in Ionith. The Taski were also much stronger than intelligence reports had suggested. Information on the size of the army the Taski were eventually able to field against the expeditionary force is vague, as the only serious fighting took place after regular communications were cut off between the Emperor and the Council. Nevertheless, it seems likely that the Taski outnumbered the Emperor's forces by several times, as they were able to force 4 crack legions into retreat and then keep them under siege for several months. As was stated previously, the Commission declines to criticize the initial decision to invade Akavir. Based on what was known at the time, the plan seemed sound. It is only with the benefit of hindsight does it become obvious that the invasion had very little chance of success. Nevertheless, the Commission believes several valuable lessons can be taken from this disaster. First, the Taski may have extremely powerful arcane forces at their command. The possibility that they may have manipulated the weather across such a vast region seems incredible, and it should be noted that 3 commissioners strongly objected to this paragraph even being included in this report. But the Commission believes that this matter deserves urgent investigation. The potential danger is such that even the slight possibility must be taken seriously. Second, the Taski appear to possess no navy to speak of. The expeditionary force was never threatened by sea, and the far Great East Fleet fought nothing but the weather. Indeed, initial plans called for a portion of the fleet to remain in Akavir for use in coastal operations, but in the event that there were very few places where large vessels of the fleet could approach the land due to the innumerable reefs, sandbars, islands, etc. that infested the coastal waters north and south from Septimia, due to the utter lack of trees in the plain around Septimia and Ionith, the expeditionary force was unable to build smaller vessels which could have navigated the shallow coastal waters. Any future military expeditions against Akavir would do well to consider some way of bringing a means of inshore naval operations in order to exploit the clear advantage over the Taski, an advantage that was sadly unexploited by the expeditionary force. Third, much longer-term study needs to be made of Akavir before another invasion could even be contemplated. The information gathered over the 4 years prior to the invasion was extensive, but clearly inadequate. The weather conditions were completely unexpected, the Taski much stronger than expected, and the attempted negotiations by the Emperor with the Taski a disaster. Akavir proved alien beyond expectation, and the Commission believes any future attempt to invade Akavir could not be contemplated without much greater knowledge of the conditions, politics, and peoples of the continent than presently obtained. Finally, the Commission unanimously concludes that, given what we know, any attempt to invade Akavir is folly, at least in the present state of the Empire. The Empire's legions are needed at home. One day, a peaceful united Empire will return to Akavir and exact severe retribution for the disaster at Ionith and for our fallen Emperor. But that day is not now, nor in the foreseeable future.
And we've definitely read these ones. The Real Baron Saya is a very long work, and we've at least read it once before, so I'll leave it here. And I have a long journey ahead of me, so let's at least try to get to Skingrad.
State your business, citizen.
Know what happened, Kvatch? Guess not.
Farewell, citizen.
It is kind of fun to hear someone giving a gruff state your business to someone who's clearly wearing more expensive and better armor. Looks like we get a nice little journey. Didn't appreciate how nice the day would turn out once the rain left. Oh, that's a lot of lost time. Alright, it is very late, so I think I'm gonna have to I'll at least sell the that's really upsetting. I'll sell the potions, and we'll have to do the journey back next stream. I just don't have the time, and I don't have the will to do all that again. I'm assuming it's the mods that are doing this, but obviously it's a real bummer.
I've looked everywhere. Perhaps she's still in Kvatch.
Greetings, guildmates. Thanks. Kvatch is safer for all of us now you've closed the gate. Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something. You... That's a fair deal. That's a fair deal. You've made a good bit of gold.
I probably don't need 11 of these, but they're not that heavy.
That's a... You've made a good bit of gold. Thank you for your patronage. Good day. I don't even notice
I
anymore.
just can't
I guess you can get used
I
to
lie
anything.
down.
You close the... If I can't fix it, what can I interest you in?
No repair hammers, huh?
A pleasure. Good day.
Alright. I will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.